Good morning. I'm Toby. I'm the content manager here at NuMundo. I'm joining you from Boston today. Normally I come from Costa Rica, but it's a bit of a family visit month. And normally I've been doing some short interviews and chats with other people, but for a change, I'm going to read you something today. And it's a piece I wrote for Elephant Journal. There's a link in the description of this video. And it's about a question that, as a traveler and a longtime nomad, I really don't like to answer. And the question is, how many countries have you been to? And there are a lot of reasons I don't like it, and I'm going to read you the piece, so you'll hear about most of them. But I think it's really relevant to what we're doing here at NuMundo with transformational travel and transformational experience, because to me, transformational travel is very much about how we move through the world, how deep we go, and not how fast or how far or how much ground we cover. And so, I've traveled from a few different perspectives, but I really believe in shifting that perspective around moving from how many countries have you visited to tell me a story about someplace you've been, something that transformed you, something that changed your worldview. So I'll get right into it. There might be a little bit of noise in the background. There's some lawn work going on behind me, so don't mind that if it happens. Why I won't tell you how many countries I visited. Nowhere on my website will you find a tally of countries I visited. Not on my Instagram either. Several times I've debated changing my policy about this. It appears to be de rigueur for writers and bloggers in my niche of adventure travel and digital nomadism. And I am proud of the ground I've managed to cover in relatively few years. Hey, David. However, I'm much prouder of how I've covered it. Hitchhiking thousands of kilometers through Europe, learning basic Swahili in Zanzibar, building community in Costa Rica. These are the stories I want to tell about my years on the road, which numbers can never do justice. Numbers may tell you how many kilometers I walked, how many years I lived out of a backpack, or yes, how many stamps I have in my passport. But numbers won't tell you what the Phnom Penh pavement felt like under my bare feet, how my shoulders ached after carrying my life with me across Spain, or the many amusing, stressful ways I crossed all those borders. I think you get my point. The number of countries I have visited is, just like any other tally, just a number. It is not, in my opinion, very interesting information. Furthermore, it is already an exceptional privilege to travel as I have done. I am deeply grateful to sustainably maintain the nomadic lifestyle I find so exhilarating. It seems unnecessary to proceed to flaunt that privilege in such a one-dimensional way. I also dislike the rhetoric, only too common in the travel blogosphere, that more countries equals more happy. There is no happiness equation. A fuller passport doesn't equate to a higher happiness index, though travel can certainly lead us down many paths to fulfillment. I'm wary of contributing to this superficial conversation in any way. All that said, I would hate to raise objections without offering solutions. I wouldn't waste your time with criticisms of displaying the travel number if I didn't have some alternatives in mind. When I tell new friends about my vagabondish lifestyle, more often than not, their first question is, so how many countries have you been to? I've come up with a lot of ways to avoid or transform that one. Here are my favorites. 1. Let me tell you about my most recent trip to X. 2. A lot. I've been living nomadically for quite a while. 3. Honestly, I'd rather answer a different question. 4. I actually don't think it's that interesting. Let me tell you a story instead. And 5. Just tell them the number, because sometimes it's easier to go with the flow and answer the damn question. I like all of these answers because most of them are pretty versatile. The same tactics can help us to gracefully evade personal questions we don't want to answer, small talk we don't want to engage in, and norms of conversation we don't want to support. I hope some of you travelers with similar misgivings to my own will take away a helpful solution or two. May your backpack be light and your feet happy, no matter how many borders they've crossed. Cheers and have a beautiful day.